Rosanna one, kind of debated on to talk about this one or not. But I feel like it's, one, it was like our most requested thing to talk about. And two, it just like really bothered me. Now I've like talked, basically I saw when I got home this morning, I got home at Monday, I saw the comments about it. And I don't usually watch things that I feel like will trigger me. And I felt like this one was going to trigger me. And I was like, oh, let me like not watch it. But everyone's like, oh, talk about it. And I was like, I guess it's like weird if I don't talk about it, but I'm glad I watched it, but I'm also glad, I'm like, I wish I didn't because it did trigger me so much. It made me so angry. But I took a shower, got glam. My mom and sister came over, which was really fun. And like, I feel like a little better, but it made me so angry. And I just was like, I'm glad I don't record things right in the heat of the moment. Cause I think if I did, I would have been so angry. Well, you saw when I came down to get glam, I was just like, I had to talk. Thank God I'm married. Cause sometimes you should just only vent to your spouse and not, you don't need to put it on the internet. So I was kind of going back and forth. I was just like, let me just vent to Moses. Cause I was so mad. I was so angry. And I like haven't gotten mad or angry in so long. I usually don't, especially this kind of stuff like hot topics. It's like, oh, whatever. It's a key. It's not that serious, whatever. But this one just felt so personal. And everyone was asking me to talk about Rosanna talking about Tana lying. That was all my comments. And I was like, oh, like, what is this? So this whole thing with Tana and Escape the Night is, I mean, it's like everywhere now and everyone's like inserting themselves. And I thought we were done with it basically. Basically, Joey was on my podcast. Tana came in that same day. They had the stories about, Tana being verbally assaulted basically and uncomfortable on the set of Escape the Night. It went back and forth, and then eventually the resolution was Joey got a statement, or Oscar got a statement from Joey, and Joey said, he sent flowers to Tana and apologized. So it kind of was squashed. So then I guess Rosanna, I guess it was her podcast. They weren't in the studio, but I guess they were doing a podcast. They had microphones and they were reacting. It was her and her long-term boyfriend Mike. And I should preface this by saying, like, I really, really loved Rosanna. Like we've gotten really close. I feel. I don't have a lot of friends, but she's someone where we know her parents, we know his parents, we know her siblings, her sister and their kids. Their kids are friends with our kids. Like we're those people who just go to each other's houses for parties and we don't have a lot of those friends. So we have a party for our kids. They're there. They always come. We always come to theirs. And so I don't know. I just felt like we had like a deeper friendship. I would say a deeper friendship than even me and Tana or me and Joey. So I was like blindsided by this. The first clips I saw, and I could only watch the clips. I was going to watch the full podcast and I just knew it would make me so upset. And so I was like, I can't. I'll watch the clips. And they're not taken out of context. They were very long clips. I could see enough of it from there. And it was at first I didn't see her talk about me. I started talking about Tana, and obviously I'm friends with Tana, and I would say we're friendly. You know what I mean? Like we don't hang out outside of the podcast, but every time I see her, I love her, and she's been so great. And me and Tana have a podcast, so my initial reaction was to defend Tana as I would anybody in the situation. But basically, Rosanna was calling out Tana for lying about her Escape the Night treatment, and it was a tough watch. It was a tough watch because Tana obviously, there was something that happened that was inappropriate on the set. Everyone knew. Rosanna was like, she told us weird stuff happened that day on the set. She's like, yeah, Tana just came to us and said weird stuff happened. And Mike's like, we don't know what the weird stuff was, but she said weird stuff. So obviously there was something. Joey knew an issue. Rosanna herself says Joey addressed it on set and that was it. It was, an error, but he fixed it. Just giving so much grace to this production of Escape the Night and really so much victim shaming on Tana's, on Rosanna's part to Tana and Mike's too. They admit that they weren't down there when anything was happening. They admit that she was alone with this guy down there. And yet they still were just saying how much she was a liar. They just kept calling her a liar.
They were dissecting her story when she's on her podcast, which is for entertainment, and it's her story to tell, so it's her right to tell it however she wants to. If she wants to add, it was 50 feet away or 100 feet away, like whatever details, she can tell it the way she wants to. It's her story to tell.
I don't even think she was meaning to do it.
What I'm saying is, like, they dissected her story as if that was in court evidence. Like, oh no, she said it was 50 feet, then she said 100 feet, so she's a liar. I'm like, that's not the point of her story. And if she wants to exaggerate, change it a little bit, maybe she doesn't remember at the moment, because also when trauma happens, you don't remember everything.
And I could tell you the difference between 50 feet or 100 feet. I don't know how far we are from me now.
But the thing is, so they dissected everything up to the moment that the thing happened, and then they said we weren't there.
Yeah.
We didn't see what happened, and then they dissected everything that happened after. I'm like, that is the main thing.
Yeah.
That is the story.
She was alone with a man that made her uncomfortable, that verbally assaulted her, that verbally told her inappropriate things, and nobody else was in the room.
So
but they basically, they admitted that they weren't there, but so much of it was, oh, she was chained up. It's like, and the faces, the mocking, all of it made me so mad. I was so mad because Rosanna, to me, up to this point, has been nothing but like so sweet and kind and very like compassionate and empathetic, and just like giggling, making faces, saying, no, that didn't happen. They're like, that didn't happen. That's just a lie. And I was like, but you guys also said you weren't there. So like, how do you know? Basically, they're saying she could have put her arms on any minute, that she wasn't chained up. That wasn't a thing. And I was like, oh, it infuriated me so much. One, you're not there. You're just not there. You didn't see any of it. You admitted that yourself. You're not there. You're calling this person a liar based on the fact that, oh, she's exaggerated in the past. 95% of her stories are exaggerated. As far as everyone knows,
to be alone in the room with the person.
Tana, you know what? People have always said this about her stories. Her story times are true. They're always true. If you exaggerate something, if you don't remember, I wouldn't even call it exaggerating. I do this all the time when you don't know 50 feet to 100 feet, or they're like, there was a freezer, but it was a non-operating freezer in there. It's just like, there's no meat. Like you said, the dissecting of it, like you said, as if they were lawyers defending, like, just out of their doing this defense made me so upset and just like attacking her character, being like, this is Tana. She exaggerates, just what she do. It's hard to believe someone like this is so harmful and so damaging. And Rosanna, of all people, who started this whole Mr. Beast crusade because she was a victim of Mr. Beast, who her complaint about the Mr. Beast video she was in is that they edited her in the wrong order. She got third place. They edited her to look like she got seventh place. And she felt very victimized by that. She felt very wronged by that. And we all rally behind her, you know, because it sucks to feel treated unfairly. She talked about her time here on Scream Queens, where she says she felt uncomfortable in compromising positions. It happens. She knows firsthand it happens, and how many people criticized her for the Mr. B story. You know what I mean? Because in my opinion, I think that was wrong. I don't think it's as bad as someone being alone with you and making sexual comments about you while you're in a vulnerable position. I think that's two very different things.
They're behind a mask.
They're behind a mask. It's documented to Rosanna. Tana said this happened. So Rosanna's there on set knowing. Then the whole Pinky thing, mocking that, being like, we need to see those doctor records. We need to see the x-rays and make sure they're not doctored. It's like, who are you to be asking for medical information on anybody? Like, it's like, who are you defending and why are you defending? It felt very like, almost like possessed. Like, it felt very weird because I was like, is this for views? Is it for, their biggest critique was, why are Joey and Tana talking about this on a podcast back and forth? Why are you inserting yourself on a podcast when you weren't even involved, totally assassinating this person's character, when all you do is try to defend victims of Mr. Beast? How can you be a voice for victims, but then when it's Tana, just completely, I mean, it's long. The clips I saw were long. I don't know how long the podcast was. Just constant berating, mocking, laughing, saying something didn't happen when you're not there.
And also, she never, ever said who that person was.
Yeah.
Who are you defending? Like it's not like she went after his livelihood, after his life.
Nothing.
She didn't do any of that. Like, she literally took it. She said it to the production. She said it to Joey. After that, she told the story. Joey told the story. They apologized. Yes, they had back and forward. Because I'm saying, okay, who are they defending? Joey? Okay, so even in there, Joey said he apologized.
Yeah,
He's sorry.
Joey apologized. Didn't know.
If anything, again, the conversation was about a show that's going to air and going to happen.
Calling Tana unprofessional. Oh, Tana can be unprofessional, but no one else can. When has Tana been unprofessional? She showed up. And then, yeah, defending and being with Joey, being like, oh, Tana only thinks about herself. Like, what about Joey's feelings? Joey wasn't the victim. Joey isn't the one chained up in a vulnerable situation. No one was allowed down there. Tana told us the story that Paige wasn't allowed down there filming. She's alone with this guy. Everyone's saying she's alone with this guy. Mike is like, yeah, she was alone with the guy. Everyone's saying this. You know, it's like she had nothing to gain. She wasn't going for this guy's livelihood, anything like that. Mocking her, saying that she did like a favor for Joey. All of it just was... It's like no one else's feelings need to be taken into consideration. Tana was the victim, not Joey. Why is she like, Tana's making this all about herself? It's because it happened to Tana. And then afterwards, Tana felt some type of way about no one taking like her seriously about the injury. And now Rosanna's questioning if she hurt her pinky. Well, we need to see those x-rays. We need to see if they were doctored. Like,